We're in the second block of Monetize. This is Paul Evans, your free online business coach. You can email me any questions at freeonlinecoachingclub@gmail.com. So in this second block, we're talking about the result or the focus of the teacher, which we covered in the models. Now, I like saying teacher better than expert or something along those lines because I don't feel like it's as much pressure personally. Because what you're going to be doing is creating a product, or in other words, a lesson. Instead of thinking, I've got to be an expert on this topic, I've got to know everything about it. You really don't. I'm going to show you a simple formula that's right here behind me to help you visualize it and help you focus on what you really need to deliver. But when it comes to a product, what you're really trying to do is bring installation. You're moving people from shallow to deep. So when we were talking about pointing, which is the reporter, it was information. You're just sharing information. You're providing some links that are affiliate links, and maybe somebody makes a purchase and you make some money off of it, right? So as the teacher, you're actually the content provider. You're going to install the knowledge or the information, except it's going to be through your product, through your teaching, through your lessons, instead of somebody else's. And so when we're thinking about installing, we're thinking about helping people get the result that they want. And it needs to be aligned with them, not just you. One of the challenges and the reason a lot of people aren't successful is that when they buy a product, they're buying somebody else's expertise, somebody else's genius, somebody else's skill set. And so when they go in to actually move into the system, they're not able to do it because it's not very well aligned. When we teach, we want to help people install it based on them instead of just based on us. So that means that we're going to give very broad education, and then we're going to bring it down to a way that's going to get them a specific result. One of the challenges that we have is when we buy these giant courses, we can't implement all of it. We can't install all of it because there's just too many pieces. Whereas instead, if we were to tighten it up and really provide a specific result, it's going to make a difference. So the formula is this, that everybody has a current reality. It's where they are right now. And they've got a result. It's where they want to be. Between that reality and the result are roadblocks, things that are keeping them from getting to that result. Now, it could be mental. It could be a skill set. There's so many different avenues, right? So I've got some examples here on the chart to look at it. So let's say that there's a person who's a dreamer about writing a book and they really want to be an author. So let's say 3 of those roadblocks are they have a challenge with the topic, a challenge with how to distribute that, and a challenge with how to create the outline. Now then, I would probably not write or create a lesson on how to write a book start to finish. I think that could be a little bit of overload. You may have to break it all the way down so that the first step is to make sure that, like we started here, what's your message? What's your core topic? What is it you feel passionate about writing about? You know, what if you created a report that was nothing but find the perfect book within you? It's not about writing the book. It's about discovering the book. And for some people, that's going to be the big roadblock. They feel like if I could really get the concept and get the idea, it'd be all right. Other people have written a book, but they don't know how to distribute it. So another core lesson could be the 5 top distribution models of your book. And then people get to choose the one that's going to be best for them, right? And that could be a report, it could be a video, something along those lines. Let's say that somebody feels like they've got a calling to be a speaker, but they've got fear. They don't know how to create their content because they got content overload. Because when they think about getting to do a speech, they think about all the things they want to share instead of what they actually need to share. And they don't really know how to put a keynote together, right? So the roadblocks are these vast gaps of knowledge and application of how to actually get there. And that's what you provide. You don't have to give the complete roadmap. All you got to do is do one thing. Like in a future episode, I'm going to talk about frameworks, and it's really about how to put together the information blocks like I've done in this entire series, and how you can just choose and pull from that to create individual products, to create courses, things along those lines. But it's a very simple method that you can use that'll make it easy, because a lot of people have a roadblock on what product do I create? How am I going to do this? Somebody who's unfit wants to be fit. They could struggle with discipline. They could struggle with a health issue. They may struggle with being alone and not having a partner. So all of these things, these topics, you can bring them down to solve something very specific. You don't have to solve everything. Solve something very specific and allow that niche, that group of individuals, to determine if they need that answer or not. And then for those who are wanting to make money, they've got the message, or that's the reality, they've got their message, but they don't know how to monetize it. So it's delivery. It could be, that's the issue. It could be really choosing that market. Could be the technology. So there's always all these different roadblocks. And a challenge with a teacher is that sometimes we want to try to cover every single roadblock. And you don't. Just cover one. And I've just listed 3 right there with each example. But the truth is, you may come up with 50. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Research will tell you which one is the hottest topic. So what do you want to do? You want to get one result, and one deliverable is where you want to begin if you've never taught anything before. So the one result could be losing 10 pounds in 20 days. I always like the fitness examples. But you've got something very specific to teach on how to do that. Then your deliverable is going to be a video or a report or a webinar or a course or a membership site. So your product or your lesson is delivered in a certain format. And most people want to say, which format's best? The format that you'll finish. If you're a great writer, do a report. If you love video, do a video. If you like webinars, do webinars. If you feel pretty confident and feel like you could create an entire course, do that. Here's what I don't encourage you to do, is trying to figure out all of the mechanics. Like, let's say you're going to write a 10-page report. Write the 10-page report. Then don't get wrapped up on the sales page and the checkout, all of that. Go back to the manualist video and do the minimum to just get that started and get that message out there and get that product out there. Follow that example. So that's just an overview of the teacher. Let me just bring it down to a summary. Don't think about being an expert. Don't think about having all the answers, but instead think solely about, here's the knowledge that I want to impart, that I want to install in this market. And I'm not going to install everything. I'm going to install something super brief to begin with. All right, on to a question. This question comes from Keisha. And she says that she struggles with severe ADHD. Totally understand that. I think a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with that. It's easy to get distracted. There are a lot of things pulling us different ways. We get consumed with an idea or a concept. We get excited about it, and then it fades. And so she says that she's tried a lot of different things. She's tried affiliate marketing, MLM, and she's got to focus on her jewelry store this year. And she said, and that's where she really wants to put her time. So really the question is, how do you remain consistently focused? How do you not let the other things, and y'all have seen my shiny object syndrome video, but how do you not allow those to distract you? And I think the real core of all of this is having that clear cause that we began with at the beginning of this series. To understand why you're doing what you're doing and who you are doing it for. If interest has to rely on you not being bored, it's going to be a challenge. It's just absolutely too easy for our bodies and our minds to go towards something new and something fresh and something interesting, instead of going, you know what, I'm not dedicated to this business. I'm dedicated to these people. Not dedicated to this business, I'm dedicated to these people. And that makes a difference, because if we're thinking solely about working on our business, as soon as we're disinterested in it, we stop. But if we got other people counting on us, then we tend to move into that arena with a lot more strength and a lot more focus. For example, when I don't have a workout partner like right now, I don't have to go to the gym. If I'm not inspired, I may not go. But if I've got somebody there waiting on me, you better believe I'm showing up. Not because I'm interested in the gym or working out. It's because I don't want to let somebody else down. So we've got to be so in love, so engaged with our market that we show up for them. Did I want to make a video today? No. But I did it. Why? Because of comments and questions like Keisha's and others who say, hey, this is really being helpful. I'm really getting to some breakthroughs. I'm starting to see things differently than I ever have before. And so I think it's critical to have that mindset and really get in there and focus on your people first, and then delivering your product second. People first, product second, and profit should follow. Not guaranteed, but should follow. Make the emphasis your people. Next question. This comes from Ray. I'm going to read it off my screen over here. Mr. Paul, thank you so much for this incredible service and that you have delivered and continue to deliver to us. I just watched session 17 and immediately identified with the letter of Gayle to you. I've spent thousands on programs and I find myself at my desk nightly immersed in the study of your material. Thank you, Ray. I really appreciate that. I don't believe in wasting any person's time. And let me give you a quick sidebar, because I've been speaking most of my life, and if I stand in front of a crowd of 1,000 and speak for an hour and don't do a good job, guess what? I didn't waste an hour. I wasted 1,000 hours. So Ray and all of you others who are watching and applying, I take very seriously that you're taking the time to watch and to immerse yourself, like Ray is mentioning here. Taking notes, expanding ideas. Whereas with those other purchase programs, I'd become overwhelmed and stalled purely out of the difficulty and lack of implementation because of a lack of simplicity. As a newbie, it's way easier to understand what you teach than those other programs that I purchased before thinking. I thought that I had bought the answer. And remember, I don't teach about the answer, I teach about an answer, a possible path forward. I quickly went to the one system and watched it straight through. I'll study this as well as implement. So grateful. Mr. Ray, thank you. And here's this question. With the manualist in mind, how would you recommend I start the process of taking 40 plus years of heavy equipment service, maintenance, and repair, augmented with 6 years of service management, organization, and begin to fashion the beginnings of a heavy-duty repair services consulting business? Thanks again. I think, first of all, you're off to a great start. I think that's exactly what you call it. Heavy-duty repair services consulting. A lot of people are going to argue with that and say it's not flashy enough and it's too long. But it's flat out clear. Because if I got a letter in the mail or a postcard and I'm in this industry, heavy-duty repair services consulting, based on over 40 years of experience in heavy equipment service and 6 years of service management. All right, this is who I need to talk to. And then I'd make a list of the top 5 to 7 benefits that they're going to get from working with you. So what do you bring to the table that's going to help them? What do they need most? What is constantly on their brain? What problems do they wish they could solve? What are their roadblocks and the result that they want? What's their current reality? What's the result they want? And what are their roadblocks? You list about 6 of those. You put them on a sheet because those are going to be universal. You got 40 years of experience. There's no way you don't know exactly what they're struggling with. And that's your sales letter. It doesn't even have to be outrageously convincing. It could be up at the top, heavy duty repair services consulting from Ray, 40 plus years in the industry. Do you struggle with any of the following in your heavy duty repair business or your heavy equipment business? Boom, 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 boom. If so, email me direct, call me direct. Let's get started today. And you could say free consultation, and we can talk about some of these things about how to get even deeper with it. But the truth is, here's what I've got. Here's what your problem is. Here's how to solve it. And that's exactly what you can do with that. So that's the best way to get started. You can do that by emailing companies directly. If you know the person that you need to be contacting, is it the general manager? Is it the guy on site? Is it the owner? You make a list of those. I would start with 10, and I would keep pushing until I got appointments, even for free, with 3 of those 10. All right. Hope that's helpful, Ray. Appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time. Keisha as well. As always, success is not an accident. Be blessed.